Cooking good lookins, my name is Sydney Metter and I am a fangirl. Hello everybody! So I just got back from seeing Civil War again and I became very inspired to make this movie. This video. Oh boy, it's very late at night. So when talking about Civil War, there's a lot of things I can discuss. I could talk about the debate between Team Iron Man and Team Cap. I can talk about the new characters. Black Panther, am I right? But today I want to talk about a different topic, and this is more general. It's not just based on this movie, but you know, this movie just made me think, oh gosh, I just need to talk about this. This needs to be said. So without further ado, today I will be talking about why the women of Marvel are the best characters. So there are a lot of women that I can talk about today. I can talk about Agent Hill, I can talk about Pepper Potts, I can talk about Jane Foster, Scarlet Witch, the list goes on and on. But today I want to specifically talk about two specific characters, Black Widow and Peggy Carter. Black Widow, first of all, is my favorite Marvel character. And a lot of times when I say that, people are just like, oh, you're just being a feminist, you just like her because she's a girl. And yes, you know, I'm a woman, so seeing a woman that is as strong and smart and talented as her, standing with these men and fighting with not as many powers as them, but just as much skill, yeah, that's really cool to see because it makes me feel like I can do that too. But I mean, in the end, that's not really the only reason I like her. She has so much to offer, and the fact that she doesn't have any real superpowers on her side makes her so much more amazing. I mean, come on, she is going up with Thor, who's basically a god, with the Hulk, who is a giant weapon of mass destruction. That's a direct quote. Iron Man, who has a suit that basically makes him invincible. Captain America, who basically is invincible. And then you've got Black Widow, who is just a girl who has a lot of training and a lot of smarts, and she nails it, okay? She is just as capable as all of them, and in fact more so most of the time. We first met Black Widow in Iron Man 2, and that movie just made it so obvious how amazing she was. By the time I got out of that movie, I knew, like, oh my gosh, watch out for this girl because she is going to she's gonna do great things. She's lived up to that. But honestly, when she went into that building and took down like literally every single trained officer, she's so cool and she is so talented. Oh my god. Okay, so Iron Man 2 proved that she is way more badass than most of the men that are trained professional fighters. Then you have Avengers, where she literally outsmarted Loki. Now, this isn't really brought up in the Marvel Universe, but in Norse mythology, Loki is the god of mischief and trickery. So she literally tricked the god of tricking people. This girl is amazing. And that brings us to the second Avengers movie, where she was literally the only person in the entire team that was able to tame the Hulk and get him out of his Hulk phase back to humanity. And yes, the movie kind of made it into a love story, which I strongly wish they hadn't done, because there are a lot of reasons, and I could make an entire video about why I do not ship Natasha Romanoff with Bruce Banner, but that's for another time, so we'll just... Before they introduced that whole love story thing, and I saw that she was literally able to tame the Hulk, I was just like, okay, of course. And that brings me to my next point. Natasha Romanoff, and unfortunately we haven't seen as much of her backstory as I would like, but she definitely has a troubled past. That's a given. But despite that, despite all of the bad things that have happened to her and all the pain that she's endured in her time, she She is the Avenger with the most heart. She is the most compassionate and the most empathetic, and she is able to understand every single character and see past their armor. And I mean that in like an emotional armor way, not an Iron Man suit kind of way. I mean, she sees what's inside. She sees past the BS. And you know, that makes her even more special. She's already proven that she could basically handle herself against anything that they throw at her. She's smarter than pretty much anyone on the team. Also, she has the most heart, and that makes her able to understand anyone, even the villains. And I think that's sort of how she was able to use Loki, because she can see into people's souls. She's like a mastermind with a heart of gold. But focusing mainly on Civil War, she is also sort of the voice of reason. And this goes back to the whole able to understand both sides thing. Iron Man and everyone on his team thought that their way was right, and they were so convinced that they could not see what Captain America was thinking, why they thought they were right, what was going on in their heads. And even though Natasha was on Team Iron Man, spoiler alert, she was able to become the middle ground. And that was what bridged the gap between them. So long story short, Black Widow's amazing, and she's my favorite character, and it's not just because she's a woman, it's because she could probably take down any of the people on the team. But that brings us to the next amazing woman of Marvel, and that is Peggy Carter. Oh boy. This woman, among her other amazing accomplishments, also was one of the co-founders of S.H.I.E.L.D. So basically, her making that decision literally paved the way for all of the other movies. Because S.H.I.E.L.D. is what brought all the Avengers together, and she started that. So we basically owe every single movie that we've seen so far to Peggy Carter. I'm just saying. But not only that, you know, she was a high-ranking military officer, she was a secret agent, and the fact that she could do all that as a woman is already pretty amazing, but when you add in the fact that she did it all in the 1940s, it's outstanding and incredible and inspiring. And I say this knowing that she was so much more than a love interest, because she is. I mean, she was able to get her own TV series and basically did like a lot of the work in the Captain America movie. But being Steve's love interest showed that she was different. You know, this was a tiny, scrawny kid from Brooklyn who never gave up a fight, and everyone else just looked at him as a scrawny little kid. Peggy didn't see that. She saw that he was the kid that never gave up the fight. That's the part of him that she saw. And she was in love with him long before he became Captain America, and I think his love for her was sort of what helped him stay grounded and stay that kid from Brooklyn, and his love for Bucky, but also her. So basically all this to say that Peggy Carter is one of my biggest heroes, because she did it all at a time when women couldn't really do any of this stuff, and she did it flawlessly, wearing high heels, never smudged her lipstick, totally boss. And in the end, I really pride Marvel on their characterization of women. They definitely aren't perfect, and there are some things I could complain about if I wanted to, but I don't really want to right now, because I look at these women and they aren't treated as inferior, and they're not treated as weaker. They're just treated as other agents, other members of the team, and honestly, they're usually the heart of the movie. They're usually the people in the movie that get the men to let go of their egos and just do what they need to do. And they aren't just strong women, they're well-developed women. They have flaws, and they have insecurities, and they have struggles, and I really love that about these movies, how they take these women and they treat them as human beings, and they make them cooler than the men. I was gonna say just as cool, but let's be honest, they're cooler. They're cooler than like all of the male characters. And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is their characterization of women. And I heard they're finally making a Black Widow movie. Yeah, it's about time, Marvel, what the heck. But good job. So. Alright, that was my spiel. That's all I wanted to say. And you know, I would like to make another one of these videos because, like I said earlier, there are a lot of women that I didn't get to talk about. So if you want me to make a part 2, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up and I will try to do that. And comment down below your favorite female character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and what they mean to you. Because I love to hear from you guys and I want to hear everyone's perspective on this. And if you, for some reason, think that the women in the Marvel Universe aren't cool because they're women and I'm just being a stupid feminist, please do not comment because I don't need to hear your crap. I don't care about it. And if you like what I have to say and you want to hear more, go ahead and hit subscribe below because I make videos every week. Until next time, peace out, Girl Scouts!